Hey, I'm Ethan, and this is the Blender Shenanigans podcast. And this is the second episode. Everything moves around the calendar. Every day of the week, on Saturday mornings, I make my calendar. And I schedule everything out in 15-minute increments. If you guys are wondering, I use Notion Calendar, lifesaver when it comes to productivity. Every time I sit at my desk, I know what I have to work on. That's the thing about focus, is what I found have worked the best is you have to be specific. Let's say I'm recording some B-roll for the video. If I don't have it written down exactly what shot I have to record, like I go down to the details like, okay, get the tripod, set it up, put the camera on it, put the phone on it. That way, it's so simple that it's like, okay, how could you procrastinate that? But the thing is, if you just say record, there's so many different tasks under that it's like, oh, well, there's so much to do, and then you put it off. At least I do in my experience. I don't know if a lot of you guys can relate to that, but that has been one of the bigger struggles, is that focus. Being specific helps, but sometimes it's not enough. So a technique that I used just recently, Pomodoro technique, if you guys haven't heard of it, it is 25 minutes of work, 5-minute break. And then you're like, oh yeah, I've probably heard of that one before. Before I'm like, oh no, that's for weaklings. I just gotta focus longer than 25 minutes. Like, I don't need that break. And then I couldn't focus for over 5 minutes, even though I was sitting down trying to for hours. Is be able to go in and be like, okay, I'm just gonna do this for 25 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, whatever the time is. Then you can have a clock to look at that's counting down. You're like, okay, I only got 10 minutes left. Let's just keep doing it. Enough about this project though. I'd really like to talk about my ideas for the next project. And of course it's like, oh, well, you should just focus on what you're doing now. Just finish that. It's always a battle with myself, right? I go in to do something and then I'm like, there's, that voice in your head that says, you should be doing this. I don't care what you want to do right now. You set out a plan last week. Whatever you made in your calendar, whatever schedule, whatever you said you would do, that's what you got to do. But in the moment, of course, it's like, it's fine. I'll get it done later. And that kind of mindset, at least in my experience, never benefits. It never turns out the way that I wanted it to. Obviously, it's just putting things off until it is mandatory. And there's a lot of little techniques I use, little life hacks, but they're all just comes down to self-awareness. How can I put myself out there so much that it would be just silly to procrastinate? Like these podcasts. Over time, that will become a habit. It will become an obligation. And I'm not going to come to the podcast one day, or at least I'll have a fear of going into it and saying, I've got nothing. That's not what I want to say. I want to say how I'm working really hard. There's struggles, but I'm pushing through them. I'm finding strategies. I'm finding ways to work around all the obstacles that came in my way. I try and create the perfect environment. My desk, take out all distractions from everything in your life, even friends, even things that you own, bringing it all down to the bare minimum, only the things that you need to post the video. That's it. Yet, I still find a way to not get it done in time. What can I do today to save time tomorrow? A quote from Alex Hormozi that I think about all the time. Does this activity that I'm doing right now bring me closer or farther to my goals? And what's the goal? Post the next video. That's the short-term goal anyways. The long-term goal is to create the team of people who I can work together with to create Blender videos that really inspire people to create their dreams. Cliche, vague, and doesn't have much details to it. I know. The goal is not specific. However, it does keep me pushing sometimes. I say sometimes because it's hard to think of those long-term goals when they seem so vague. That's the thing still. It's like, what do I want? And then I keep telling myself, it doesn't matter what you think you want 10 years later. Well, I want to just work on the video. I want to post the next video. That's what I want to do. Post the next video. That's all I should focus on then. It doesn't matter where that huge goal. Just keep doing that. Optimizing that. That is the job. Post a video. Look at it. Ask yourself, what can I do better on the next video? Do that. Repeat it. Boom. And I really try and work on my mindset a lot. Always being optimistic. Really being strict about what I allow myself to think, what I allow myself to do, what I allow myself to talk about, and who I talk to. Why? It doesn't matter why. I want to be the best I can be. And I get mad at myself when I was lazy. When I look back at the end of the day and I saw that I procrastinated, I lay in bed at night and think, tomorrow we're going to lock in. Tomorrow we're going to focus. We're actually going to just grind at it. Does that happen? Rarely. Sometimes I can get a really focused day, but it wasn't the grind. I just felt like I could do it easily because the projects were fun. But the work doesn't actually start until you want to stop and you push yourself and force yourself to look back. You slap yourself back into it and then be like, this is what I have to do right now. It doesn't matter if I'm falling asleep. This is the task in front of me. I have to do this. And that's when it gets tough, of course. It doesn't matter, though, how tough it is. The tougher it is, the less competition, right? I want to be great. I want to be extraordinary. I want to be the one who makes it work. The one who proves myself right, wrong, whatever it is. I don't want to just settle. Can't be ordinary. No one wants to be ordinary. I don't know what other people want. All I know is what I want, what I'm thinking about. And of course, I've talked to other people, but at the end of the day, I can't read their mind. So all I know is what I can do next. What action am I going to take right now to move closer to what I think will help me get to my goal? That's all I wanted to talk about today. Of course, thank you so much for listening. If you do think this is valuable at all, share it to someone. Let them know. Maybe it could help someone. Who knows?